when it hits that second, I just get so hyped up every single time. We are the executives. This is the Hurdle, episode 59. I'm Cody Carpentier with my main man, Matty Kiwoom. We're here live on the Player Profiler and the Executives of Fantasy Football YouTube channels. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And we're here to do a 2-round NFL mock draft tonight. Big one. Please click that like button. Please click subscribe. We're going to get you guys in and out in 30 minutes, 64 picks, 2 rounds. Matty, are you ready?
I'm ready to rock and roll real quick, and this is going to go against us trying to get a 30-minute mark. Do you know that there's a Walmart commercial out there with our theme song?
Really?
That's correct, yep.
They're jacking our song.
They're jacking our swag, yep.
Maybe it's the other way around. I don't know, but I think they're jacking our song. Matty, you want the evens or the odds?
Let me go evens.
All right, even Steven, or we're leaving. Numero uno, no trades tonight. NFL mock draft. Mine was up last week, 5.05 rounds. We talked about it on the Draft Rankings podcast on Monday. Talked about it on Friday. Actually, I talked about it on Monday with Alex as well over at Roster Watch. You can find all that shit everywhere. You can also find Matty's last mock draft up at playerprofiler.com as well. Number 1 overall, Caleb Williams. No shocker. Here we are. Line him up. Knock him down.
The Washington Commanders, I was putting out that smoke screen for J.J. McCarthy. I'm not falling for it. I'm going to stick to the process. Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury gets his style of quarterback.
This is starting to make a lot more sense. It was in the conversation. They pushed him way down here. He's down at 22, according to PFF, with an ADP of 4. That all makes tons of sense. But the Jaden Daniels to Washington's making more and more sense. New England here, we've heard some smoke today about them potentially trading back. I don't think so. I think the move is JJ. And I'm going to buy into the hype. New England has to make the decision. JJ makes the sense. Again, he was also pushed down here, ranked 28, ADP of 9.6. JJ McCarthy, 103 to the New England Patriots.
Which leaves the easy pick for me at number 4. The Cardinals, not deviating from their strategy, take Marvin Harrison Jr. to be their wide receiver 1 for the next iteration of this offense.
I love it. And that's something that is definitely, this is kind of feels like chalk. Of course, Drake May's not here, but this is chalk, couple about a month ago. 105 here. The Chargers do not go wide receiver. They go Joe Alt. Alt can play either side. They end up needing him at probably play Slater. I would imagine they might move Slater to the right side and put Alt on the left side, but they get the tackle. They need the tackle. They get the tackle here, Joe Alt.
And the Tennessee Titans are depressed. With the 6th pick in this draft, the New York Football Giants take Malik Neighbors, get a wide receiver 1, and they get possibly the next iteration of the New York wide receiver superstar.
Snowman, what's going on, brother? We appreciate you jumping in the chat. I appreciate the comment. Ricardo says, what's the reasoning behind McCarthy to the Pats? We did talk about this one on the Draft Rankings podcast on Monday, as that's where I mocked him as well. And, of course, you've heard the conversations today about McCarthy. But JJ, point blank period, one of the winningest quarterbacks of all time in college football. I think he's got everything up here in the dome to be that franchise quarterback. Drake May, of course, has the talent, the arm talent, all those things that comes to the table. But maybe he's a year, maybe he's 2 years away, and maybe it takes the right coaching staff, whereas J.J. McCarthy can come into any situation, I believe, and succeed. And I think New England needs a guy just like that to run this offense to a top level. And I think Matty would probably agree with that, just based on how they're building this team with the defense and the run game. Yeah, I think that feels like the answer.
And Ricardo, we're also up. I'm up here in New England, and radio hosts are talking about how they were wrong about McCarthy after the process is rolled out. It seems like the Patriots are falling for McCarthy, and if he's there at 3, all bets are off.
Number 7 overall, the Tennessee Titans. Everything we heard at the NFL Combine was tackle centric, and they were when Joe Alt goes off the board, but they have Olu Fashanu number 1 on their board. Projecting, that's not official. Projecting, and Olu Fashanu is here at 7. The draft is a flat circle. He's back top 10.
Atlanta's here at 8. I think they're a perfect trade back candidate because I think that they're going to be looking edge rusher and cornerback. Dallas Turner's the best edge rusher that's going to fit their new 3-4 scheme. I think Verse is a better player. And because I think Verse is the better player than Turner, I think that they possibly pivot and go with the best cornerback in the class. AJ Terrell's on a 1-year deal, so it's time to start preparing for life after Terrell. They go Quinyon Mitchell at 8.
Ooh, I like that. That's interesting. I put Verse here in my last mock, and Quinyon's an interesting one. I think he's got far odds. I wish I had the numbers in front of me. Versus plus 700 to be the first defensive player off the board. I don't have Quinyon's number on here, but he was in that same area. 9th overall, the Chicago Bears, who took Mr. Caleb Williams, number 1 overall. No tackles fall to them. Roma Dunze is here and is available. They could go edge. Verse and Dallas Turner are available. So kind of I get the options I want. Do I want to go receiver? Do I want to go edge? I'm going edge, and I'm going Verse. Jared Verse, 9 to the Chicago Bears.
With Verse going off the board and Odunze being there, I don't see the Jets taking Brock Bowers. I just don't really see it rolling out. I think if the 3 receivers are gone, they could go Fuaga because they need some insurance for the tackles, and they also have a guy that could go inside. But with Odunze there, they gotta grab him. He's a perfect complement to the receivers they have, and Garrett Wilson and Rome Odunze as a tandem will last beyond Aaron Rodgers' years and be something that the Jets can continue to build off.
I know sometimes Bucky Brooks has cockamamie analysis, but the question was posed today. He had this happening. He had Drake May falling to 11. Real life, I don't think this happens. Vikings
No, they gotta move up.
Denver moves up. Somebody moves up. But in this iteration, we're doing 0 trades. And Harry Snowman's mentioning it. This is exactly the point here. He's not falling this far, but we're just not doing trades. So finding a spot for him. Does he go 6? 6 is interesting. I really think Dayball and that staff would think about it. They would see the Allen in there, and they would see the mess up they did with Daniel Jones, and they could see possibly clicking that button. But that would almost restart what they're doing. I don't know. It'd be a really weird thing, but I think Minnesota is moving up. So I'm just going to give Minnesota Drake May here because that obviously makes the most sense. I think they trade up for Drake May in overall conversation. So I'm going to go Drake May here at 11.
Pick 12, the Denver Broncos are on the clock. Sean Payton, through a number of his years in New Orleans, loved solidifying that defensive line. He loved getting playmakers on that defensive line. So here at 12, I'm going to take Byron Murphy II, and he is my D lineman 1 in the class.
Yes, sir. I'm going cornerback for the Las Vegas Raiders. And you know what? I'm going to throw just a nuke into this whole conversation. What do the Raiders do? Brother, what do the Raiders do? The Raiders love them some speed. Nate Wiggins, 13th overall. Every year you have a pick like this, and 70% of the years it comes from the Raiders. Let's do it. Nate Wiggins, 13th overall, the second cornerback off the board after Quinyon Mitchell.
So we're at pick 14, and I am also going to go crazy here. We heard Mel Kiper say it just a couple days ago that he's hearing whispers that not only is Xavier Worthy a first-round pick, he thinks some GMs have him as a top half of the first-round pick. The New Orleans Saints here get their deep threat to go with Chris Olave. Xavier Worthy, wide receiver 4 off the board inside the top 15.
Oh, my God, dude. All right, you caught me. Wow, that's a pick. Wow, great pick, dude. That is.
I mean, are we gonna believe that the NFL just out of nowhere is not going to absolutely be inebriated with speed? You said Wiggins a pick ago. This is what I'm talking about here. We saw Joe Ross get into the top 10. He's so much better than Joe Ross. He's put together such a good pro day. He even said at the combine himself, what makes him special is his start-stop ability. And if Mel Kiper's hearing whispers that this guy is going to be a top half of the first-round pick, it's time to start believing him and it's time to start putting him in places we haven't put him before. I said it coming out of the combine. 4-2-1 puts you on boards that you were not on before.
15th overall, the Indianapolis Colts get a gift wrapped in crimson, Terrion Arnold.
I mean, that's a great pick for them there. Then now we have the Seahawks on. I went super spicy, and now I'm going to tone it down a notch. I think that the offensive coordinator from the Washington Huskies headed over to Seattle Seahawks takes his guy, Troy Fautanu.
I love that. I love that. The Jacksonville Jaguars are here on the board, and there's an edge rusher still available, and his name is Dallas Turner. Maybe one of the values of the draft. We had this conversation last week. I would not be surprised if Dallas Turner falls out of the top 10, out of the top 12, out of the top 15, and into a situation like this with a Seattle, a Jacksonville, a Rams. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes off in this area.
At pick 18, I'm not going to get crazy here. If he somehow is available at 18, obviously Brock Bowers off the board. And one thing that the Bengals continuously tell us, they're willing to go skill position over tackle. They went and brought another vet right tackle to play with another vet left tackle. So I don't see them going tackle in the first round. I think they go offensive weapon.
One of my favorite picks in becoming one of my favorite picks is Graham Barton here. I like Barton to Jacksonville as well, but if they get the value of Dallas Turner at 17, I think they're going Turner. Graham Barton is a 5-tool offensive lineman, a.k.a. he can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. The Rams need some help. They've had some retirees. They've had some injuries. They need to protect the quarterback, and I think the Graham Barton is perfect here for the Rams.
I went spicy a few picks ago. I'm going to go spicy again. Mike Tomlin has been following this player all throughout the process. They get their Deontay Johnson replacement. Ladd McConkey goes 20th overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's cockamamie, but it's fine. 21st overall, the Miami Dolphins are sitting here with possibly a gift in Johnny Newton, but they pass on him. And I'm going to scroll on down here, and I'm going to add Brian Thomas as that wide receiver 3 for the Miami Dolphins. They've mocked it. He's been out there looking at Xavier Worthy. They're going to be down there at LSU. I think it's tomorrow for the LSU Pro Day. We're going to see Mike McDaniel looking for that wide. He needs some more speed. You can't just have fast. You got to be fast. Brian Thomas brings that.
Yes, it seems like Mike McDaniel is sniffing around more offensive weaponry. Here, the Eagles, there's a pick that I love, and I'm just going to stick to it. I know they could go offensive lineman, but this class is deep. I think they go Cooper DeJean, a player that can go be a shutdown corner for them right off the bat, or move the safety if they need him. But he's a defensive weapon that they desperately need in their secondary.
I'm stuck here with the Vikings, looking at Latham or Fuaga, and I like both. I think I'm gonna go Fuaga here and move him into guard for the Vikings. That's gonna be my projection. As they take Fuaga here and they move him into guard. 23rd overall.
The talk swirling around the NFL draft is Fuaga is starting to be considered more and more as a guard, and Fautanu is getting considered more and more as a tackle. So they kind of swapped in terms of their potential roles in the NFL. So I actually think that's real smart. Dallas here, they gotta go tackle. They drafted Tyler Smith to be a tackle so they could get a guy who could play in, he could play out. I'm gonna go JC Latham. I think he's just the best available tackle. He has played a little bit on the interior, so I think they just kind of see which guy's more comfortable on the inside. But at the end of the day, you want 5 quality linemen, and they go ahead and start building theirs.
Green Bay can go in a couple different directions, in my opinion, and I think one of those directions would be a Johnny Newton falling to them at pick 25. So I'm going to go interior defensive line, Johnny Newton out of Illinois.
It just becomes the 17th first-round defensive player on that roster. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are up at 6. Liatu Latu is available. They will grab him. He is probably the only edge rusher I see in this class that can have double-digit sacks from jump. So to get him here at 26 is perfect scenario for the Bucs.
And the Arizona Cardinals are back on the clock. The first pick they had was, of course, Marvin Harrison. I think in other drafts you'll see them pick a 23 here, so it'll give them a little more ammunition, a little more angle here, where I think they maybe get a guy like a Latu there at 23, but they're on the clock here at 27, and another guy that I love for the Arizona Cardinals. Marius Mims is interesting here. Guyton is interesting here, but the guy that I love is probably way further down this board, so I'm just going to go ahead and go the fast way. And not there. D-line. There we go. Maybe they have him as edge. Why wouldn't they have him at his position that he actually plays? Darius Robinson from Missouri.
Darius Robinson is a good pick for the Cardinals. Buffalo Bills, everyone wants them to go wide receiver. After the signing of Curtis Samuel, I just don't see that happening. I think they go with a smarter pick, a more higher floor pick, and I think they get their next cornerback and get Kool-Aid McKinstry to play across from their CB1, Rasul Douglas.
Kool-Aid McKinstry falls to pick 28. Beautiful pick for the Buffalo Bills. Something they need after they lose Trey White. The Detroit Motor City Kitties are here at pick 29. They need interior, but Mims is there. Jackson Powers Johnson's, of course, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Frazier. Let's see who else is on the board here that I might like. I don't mind Fisk. Let's see. I think. You know what? I'm going to go Chop. Chop. Give me Chop on the opposite side to Aiden Hutchinson.
Love that.
Sign me up.
Love that. Just make opposing quarterback just piss down their leg. Baltimore's up here. We're hearing a whole lot of chatter that they love Jordan Morgan. I like Morgan too, but with Mims available, I think they take Mims. Ronnie Stanley had the split time last year. They're going to have a new starter at the right. I think they could do a really good thing for the team by taking a mountain of a man, someone who has a really, really high ceiling in Amari Smith.
Pick 31. Once you go to Oklahoma, you always go to Oklahoma. And they went to Oklahoma with Trent Williams. They didn't draft him. Washington did, but they got him anyway. Mm-hmm. And Tyler Guyton now comes over to play right and groom in as the next Oklahoma great tackle in the NFL.
With pick 32, I'm going to get a little spicy here as well. I've asked multiple people at the Combine, who was the toughest offensive lineman that you had to go up against at the Senior Bowl? And multiple times I heard this guy's name. They need another tackle. I think that they grab one here at the end of the first round. Kingsley Suamataia, BYU, goes to the Kansas City Chiefs at 32.
That is round one. We finished out with 3 consecutive tackles to finish that bad boy. If you can't see it now, you can. I'll zoom back up to the top, and you can run on down. Some of the most interesting picks I think that were made here. Of course, Drake May falling to pick 11. I reached a little on Nate Wiggins at 13. Typical Las Vegas Raiders move. Xavier Worthy gets that big bump up to 14 overall to the Saints as he is wide receiver 4 off of the board. Brock Bowers, of course, 18 to Cincinnati Bengals. Ladd McConkey picked 20 ahead of Brian Thomas to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Liatu Latu to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chop Robinson filled up to the Detroit Lions, followed by 3 tackles. Baltimore, San Fran, KC. This right here. The great get the good get great, the great get better, whatever.
That's right.
Edge and tackle, edge and tackle. Just doing the damn thing, doing it the right way. Let's go round 2. We appreciate you guys for tapping in here. Make sure you click that like button, click subscribe if you are tuned in, tapped in at Player Profilers YouTube channel or the Executives of Fantasy Football. Remember, thedraftrankings.com, thedraftrankings.com. You can also find the draft rankings on YouTube. We'll be publishing 3 shows a week, talking through our mock drafts, talking through the best possible drafts for these NFL teams. We've been team by team. We've done the Vikings. We've done the Bears. We're due Jacksonville this week. I think the Bears comes out tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. Stay tuned in. Stay tapped in. NFL-centric, not just fantasy football over there. Pick 33 tonight, Matty Kiwoom. I'm going to do the dang thing. I'm going to stay on the edge. The rumors we heard down there at the Senior Bowl way long ago were edge, guard, receiver, edge. Yes, yep. I said edge twice. Yes, I did it on purpose. Yes, they spent $1 billion on the interior. And yes, at 33, they're going to go edge. Braylon Trice is the conversation, but I'm going Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan.
You guys got a lot of steam. Here, the Patriots pick at 34. They got their field general on the offensive side of the ball, and now Gerard Mayo gets his field general on the defensive side of the ball. Linebacker takes linebacker, Peyton Wilson, 34th overall pick.
Love that pick. Love that. Of course. Arizona Cardinals, 3rd pick here in the top 35. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. They have Darius Robinson, and now at pick 35, where they left anything else. I'm going to go ahead. I don't really want to take Lassiter here. No, I'm going to give him Jackson Powers Johnson.
That's right. Him being there at 35 is massive for this organization. Next up, the Washington Commanders. They need offensive line. They need defensive line here. So to sort through it, it feels like a lot of the real difference makers in terms of edge rushers are gone. But there's one guy that's still pretty good. I think they go Braden Fisk here, someone that just has a high motor defensive lineman that can just provide them with that boost that they need in the middle of the field.
We went Joe Alt in round 1 for the Los Angeles Chargers. I think Adonai Mitchell goes off somewhere in this tier. Whether again, it could be up. I scrolled way too far. It could be literally somewhere like 26, 27 to Tampa Bay, Arizona, and I think it could go all the way down to 50. This time, it's going to be 37 here to the Chargers. They need a receiver. Adonai Mitchell, 6'4", 205 pounds. Got the speed, got the athleticism, got the catch radius. Similar style to Marvin Harrison. He's not Marvin Harrison, but similar style. They need that size with the Quentin Johnston almost faceplant.
Next up, the Tennessee Titans. In the first round, they grabbed Olu Fashanu. Here, they get their edge guy. They need a little bit of pass attacking or passing attacking on the defensive side, so they go Chris Braswell, edge from Alabama.
Carolina back on the clock. This is their second pick here in round 2, second pick in 7 picks. Guard, receiver, edge. This time, we're going receiver. One of the weirdest landing spots that makes too much sense to me is Troy Franklin here, 39 to the Carolina Panthers. He just feels like he fits that DJ Chark role. They need somebody to play in that role. They're not going to draft a Mingo type. They're not going to draft Xavier Legette. It's going to be Troy Franklin at 39.
Troy Franklin off the board. Next up with the second pick in the top part of the second round, the Washington Commanders, they got their edge rusher. Now they're going to look offensive line. 2 good ones looking through right now. Do they go interior, outside? Man, Cody, what do you think here? Morgan with his versatility, or do they get the better overall interior lineman and get Zach Frazier, someone that can be their center? What do you think here of these two? I need some help.
I think they go Morgan.
Take him.
All right, let's tap
I needed a tiebreaker. Needed a tiebreaker.
The Green Bay Packers back on the clock at pick 41. They're looking O-line, D-line, safety. Where are they going? I'm going safety, Tyler Nubin. They go over to the great state of Minnesota, and they bring over a hard-hitting safety and Tyler Nubin from the Gophers.
The Houston Texans are now up. They've already brought this guy in on a 30 visit. I think they go with edge Adisa Isaac from Penn State.
Not what I thought you were going to do. You know exactly what I thought and I was hoping for, but you didn't click the button. It's okay. 8th overall, the Atlanta Falcons selected Quinyon Mitchell, leaving the edge room a little open. Could there be a possible edge to go off the board here in round 2? I don't love what I'm seeing as far as best availables.
There's somebody.
Trice, boom, there it is.
There it is.
I don't like how this board, dude, is
it leaves
cockamamie.
Guys, yeah, it leaves guys available for insane value. Teams would salivate over. Next up at the 44th pick, they went defensive. They went corner. Nate Wiggins at 13. Here they are more than happy to sit back and get their guy Michael Penix Jr., the new franchise quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders.
And the Saints are kind of pissed because they're like, damn, that would have been a good value. We could have just did nothing and got our guy. And they didn't do that. So let's check out the tackle position and the defensive line for the Saints. And right now, I think I'm going to go D-line. I think I'm going to go Chris Jenkins here from Michigan, defensive tackle, New Orleans Saints.
Next up, the Indianapolis Colts. They need themselves a playmaker on defense. They need themselves a little bit of a linebacking upgrade after Leonard left. Edrin Cooper is there on the board. I think they take the super speedy, super athletic linebacker there.
Edrin Cooper is going to be 47 picks down here because they hate linebackers.
I know.
There he is. And pick 47, the New York Giants, who took Malik Nabers in round 1, are going to go to Oregon here. And they're going to take a guy that played next to Kayvon Thibodeau. His name goes by Brandon Dorless, who, again, is going to be 77 picks too low. Dorless to the Giants, pick 47 overall.
Oh, here we go. All right, next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars are counting their lucky stars. With their first selection, they got Dallas Turner, which is probably a long shot given the way teams have looked at that player. And then they get Zach Frazier in the second round, and they couldn't be happier.
Round 1, the Cincinnati Bengals took Brock Byers. And in round 2, they need tackles still, and they need D-line. But one of the best tackles available right now, Kieran Amedeje, is still available. And I think Blake Fisher's a little too high for me to take Blake Fisher. I think I'm going to take Kieran because it's a second-round pick, but it allows them to bring him along for a year. They have the big brown boys on left and right tackle, the 6'8"ers. I think Kieran comes in at Yale. He needs a year to sit, and they take the tackle here, 49th overall. Kind of a boring pick.
Great upside, though. Great upside. The Eagles are up with some players available. I think a lot of these guys make sense, but something that stands out to me is their constant desire to get a third wide receiver that is a big body playmaker. Who's still available that fits that description? Keon Coleman, wide receiver from the Florida State Seminoles. Come on down, be Philly's new number 3.
And we got a little bit of a run going on here for the wide receiver position with Ricky Pearsall, one of my favorite landing spots. Jacksonville's in the conversation for Pearsall here. Pittsburgh's going to snab him here at 51, a few picks after Jacksonville takes Frazier.
So cornerback seems like such a natural fit for the Rams in the second round, but they brought back an old friend, Darius Williams. They just got Tre'Davious White on a 1-year deal. I'm thinking that they avoid it altogether. They need some help in the middle. Obviously, Aaron Donald left. Have you heard of him? Left a big hole. With Brandon Dorlus off the board, who do they turn to? The big man, T. Sweat. Different player than Aaron Donald, but is that run stopper, can do a whole lot with a man of that size and stature.
He's gonna make some Diddy bread off the field living out there in LA, man. They're gonna have him on like he might be the new age refrigerator Perry if he lives in LA, get into Hollywood, do some movies in the off season, do some commercials, be on a box of cereal, you know what I'm saying? He could be rolling down, whatever street with some 40s with the chain popping, ding, ding. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be just rolling, mobbing and some money in LA. I love that spot for T-Sweat. I hadn't thought about that until now. Eagles back on the clock here. Who are they taking round 1? I can't remember offhand. Cooper
DeJean and Keon Coleman are their first 2 picks of this draft.
All right. We're going backer here. We're going linebacker. Ding. Jeremiah Trotter. Jr.
Love that pick. They need a thumper at linebacker. That makes a whole lot of sense. The Cleveland Browns are up. Traditionally, I've been having them take D linemen a lot, but when you look at their offensive line, they're getting a little older. They're getting a little long in the tooth. I think they could go for a nasty interior lineman, and they go with my guy from UConn, Christian Haynes.
Typed it in before you could say it. Love it. All right, we took wide receiver in round 1 for the Miami Dolphins. They could go O-line, D-line here. They lost Christian Wilkins. They could fill somebody in. I think that we still got 1 D lineman available, if I'm not mistaken. Rook is there. I'm going to go, you know what? It seems like a reach right now with Michael Hall, but I think Michael Hall's gotten some good helium. I don't like the ranking that PFF has in the ADP. I think it's fugazi. Michael Hall here at 55 overall. I like it. It's a little bit of a reach, but I don't think it will be. It's Ohio State defensive lineman.
Cowboys are up. I think with this pick, they could go with a bit of a luxury pick, a bit of a sexy pick, a running back perhaps, a wide receiver if there's someone there that they like. They no longer have Michael Gallup. So they don't really have that field stretching big guy to go get it. This is something I haven't seen before, but something I think could gain a lot of steam from now to the draft. Xavier Leggett, wide receiver from the University of South Carolina, going in and being that player to fill the deeper big body wide receiver role.
Holy cow. Wow. That's interesting. Passing up on running back. Maybe they take J.K. Dobbins in free agency.
Or they can wait. I mean, how many running backs do we see go in the first 2 rounds? One,
One or two,
maybe.
yeah. Maybe one
We'll
or
see.
two. All right, Tampa Bay's on the clock. They got a bevy of needs, and one of them, they do have Baker Mayfield on a 2-year contract, but it's a show me league. And Bo Nix, Tampa Bay.
I like that pick. I like that a lot. Next up, the Green Bay Packers. They went back-to-back defensive players, and they're looking here. They can't pass on another defensive player. TJ Tampa has fallen long enough. Jair Alexander is getting long in the tooth. Eric Stokes could theoretically be their new cornerback 1, and then TJ Tampa brings that dump at cornerback 2.
Houston takes Adisa Isaac, just a mere 17 picks ago on the defensive line. They can look linebacker and they can look at corner. Those are the 2 positions I'm staring at deep into the soul if I'm D'Amico. And right now, the best value on the board, I love me some Mikey Sandstrel. I think Kamari Lassiter helps his team right now. He ran a little slow, so he's going to drop, and he drops right down to 59 to the Houston Texans.
So now the Buffalo Bills are back on the clock. They went defensive secondary. They went defensive back Clay McKinstry in the first round. Now they're up again. And where they could go back to receiver. They lost Gabe Davis. They could use edge. I think they go the boring pick. I think they go the smart pick. They take Jonah Ellis, tad undersized from Utah, but it can be a menace getting after the quarterback and a player that they could really use as they try to get after Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and the rest of the AFC QBs.
That is a Buffalo pick. That's what that is. That is a Buffalo Bills selection if I ever did see one. I'm going to go wide receiver here for the Detroit Lions, and I'm going to go with a guy that I'm not sure he's quite got the dog to play up there, but people tend to like him, and the teammates seem to think he's a little bit of a dog. Devontae Walker, 61st overall to the Detroit Lions.
Interesting. Baltimore is up. What does Baltimore do so well? They pick up value, and they do need a little bit of help at corner. I think they go Mike Sanderstill here to get their slot guy that they could solidify. They had a number of different guys try to play that role last year. Ended up having to have Kyle Hamilton come down and play a lot of slot corner. I think they fixed that problem with Sanderstill here, and then let Hamilton be that center fielder that he's so good at being.
All right, so we do have a couple of guys that have been overrated. We've seen a couple of them go off here, but Ennis Rakestraw from Missouri falling to pick 63 is proper. I think this is a proper selection, a proper drop. Rakestraw falls into the laps of the Niners, and they're so happy going tackle, corner. 2 big needs to start this draft out. Pick 64, Matty. Take us home.
All right, so they went with the smart pick here in the first round. The Kansas City Chiefs taking Kingsley Sumatia, solidify that offensive line. But here, they're looking through here. What could they use? Of course, people are going to call out for all these different things. Of course, they could go look for defensive back, cornerback even. But there's a bit of a drop off here at the cornerback position. Kyrie Jackson, Max Melton. I don't know if those guys are going to come off the board in the second round. I think that what they need is a tactician. What I think they need is someone that could be that prototypical wide receiver 2, so they can have true wide receiver sets in, Hollywood Brown being that deep threat, Rashee Rice playing in the middle. And here at 64, the Kansas City Chiefs, these two-time defending Super Bowl champs, take Javon Baker from UCF.
That's how you end it. Javon Baker, pick 64. You're going to get my juices flowing. I love the landing spot because I think he's similar to Rashee Rice. That is 64 picks, 2 rounds of the 2024 NFL mock draft. We are your boys. That's Matty Kiwoom. I'm Cody Carpentier. You can find us every single Tuesday and Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Tuesdays on the Player Profile YouTube channel. Tuesdays and Wednesdays on the Executives of Fantasy Football YouTube channel. You can also find us 3 times a week on the Draft Rankings podcast, thedraftrankings.com. We just dropped our top 90 Superflex rookie rankings, top 90. Superflex rookie rankings, thedraftrankings.com. Go check it out. We appreciate each and every one of you guys being in the chat, tapping in, tuning in on this beautiful Tuesday night. Matty Kiwoom, my wide receivers, Malik Neighbors. Do you want to share yours? Or you want to tell them to go check out the site?
You got to go check out the site, baby.
We love you guys. See you later.
Peace.